Hello! In this video I'm going to show you how I created this print using 3 different plates. It's an abstract print, and I'm also going to talk about how I came up with the concept. Hope you enjoy the video. In this print I wanted to do something very different. I wanted to have create an abstract image, and I drew an inspiration from a sculpture by Henry Moore. I went to see his workshop and I took a photograph of one of his sculptures, which really inspired me to create abstract form in my new print. I have manipulated the image and only used some of the sculpture concept, and I manipulated the colors and created my own composition. I really wanted to get this feeling of space and depth and vibrancy of colors, and I hope I achieved that. The biggest challenge was to get the colors blended together. As you know, in print this is quite difficult, so I used a little bit of transparency in my ink. I've also created 3 different plates which put in the color in separate runs through the press. I achieved the really dark background by using Carborandum media. Carborandum is a fine powder which you can buy from most art shop. This one is I got from Intaglio Printmakers in London. You can buy it online. It's very fine grit, and I normally just sprinkle it on top of a surface with wood glue. You can also mix it with media. It just depends, really. There's different techniques. Because there's a lot of ink that would get trapped in the plate if I was inking up this very fine grit, I've used something called Magnesium Carbonate. Magnesium Carbonate, again, is a fine white powder which you can mix with your ink to make it a lot thicker. If the ink is really thick, then when you apply it to your plate it will not run, and you won't get that excess ink problem when you run through the press. So I created 3 different plates, and I started off with the lightest plate, with the pink plate. So I chose all the pink areas that I wanted to come out in my image, and I peeled off the areas that I wanted to print in pink, and then blended in with a little bit of glue the areas that I didn't want to be pink. The next plate that I printed was the blue plate, and this plate, again, I looked at my image and I decided which areas we're going to print, and these were the areas that I peeled off and then treated with a bit of glue to get rid of the dark, the blue areas. And the very last plate that I printed is the Sepia plate, the dark plate, and this is the full plate. And as you can see, all my dark areas have been treated with Carborandum. It's an excellent way of having a really rich dark tone in your plate. And then the rest of the dark areas I just peeled off and treated with a bit of wood glue. All 3 plates have been sealed with shellac varnish, clear varnish, which is this one is my favorite. It works really well, and you can even see any matte media that you might have applied to your plate and glue. You can see the difference between very shiny and slightly matte areas, even with the shellac varnish finish. So it's really good because it's very thin, so you can get a very good amount of detail using this. It doesn't sort of get rid of the fine detail. I hope you enjoy the video. So here we go. I'm securing my print on transparent piece of paper with a bit of carbonated paper underneath, and I'm sort of drawing out my design. At the moment, this is the first plate I'm doing is going to be the darkest plate, the sepia plate. So I'm just checking my design if all the lines have been included, and once I'm happy with everything, I'm going to peel off my design and start scoring the plate with a scalpel knife, and I am peeling off bits that will be the darkest bits. So this is my sepia plate. So these will be the very dark background colors that I will then fill with Carborandum on top of the glue, wood glue. So as you can see here, I'm just covering all these dark bits with wood glue and quite a generous amount of Carborandum, just to make sure I get everything completely covered. And I'm just being really careful that I'm not getting any wood glue on the light areas, just to make sure that it's all neat and tidy. So this bit is very satisfying. I'm just going to turn it over, and after the wood glue has dried, give it about 20 minutes or half an hour, and the fine Carborundum will just come off the plate now. So that should trap all my dark ink and give me that really intense colour. So now I'm moving on to other parts of the plate, which will also be dark, but not completely dark. So I'm just going to score the card and peel off those bits, and because they will not be completely dark, I will then add some wood glue or some matte media to offset all these areas that are supposed to be lighter. Sort of dark color goes into a lighter color, so that the wood glue that I'm painting now is going to wipe off the ink. So it's sort of, I want these organic brush strokes to come through basically with my sepia ink when I wipe the plate. And there's a bit of dark colour there that I've missed out, and again I'm doing some nice brush strokes with wood glue just to, so then it wipes off into a lighter area. And there's a bit of Carborandum bit that I've forgotten to do initially, and I'm just adding that on, and again that bit is going to be partially dark with a bit of wood glue brush strokes on it. So here I'm starting to do my second plate, which was my pink plate, and again, just like before, I'm drawing out my shapes. So I'm being really careful. I'm looking at my design and thinking, okay, where are the pink bits going to be? And where I want to show pink, I'm going to score into the card and peel off. But the second plate, I'm just going to cut out all my dark bits. So it's going to be just the pink plate. And I'm also using the shape to create my blue plate as well. So I don't have to draw it out again through my transparency. So here I'm just quickly cutting out all the pink bits, and again, just like I did with the sepia design, I'm doing those wood glue brush strokes. So anything that I don't want to be pink, that I want to be wiped off, I'm doing the same. And this is the blue plate now, and again, I'm just being careful where I want the blue to show off, and where I don't want it to show off, I'm going to paint on with the brush with wood glue. And here we go. I'm treating it all here. So this is now that my pink plate is ready. I'm applying a generous amount of pink and just wiping it off. So as you can see now, all the bits that I don't want to be pink are wiping off quite smoothly. So where the card is completely smooth. And this is the blue ink. The blue ink is treated a little bit of extender, so it's a bit more see-through, because I want some pink to show through the blue, as I'm going to print the blue plate second after the pink one. So you can see all my brush strokes with wood glue are showing now. And now time for the third plate, and this is my sepia ink, which is mixed up with a thickening paste, and then I'm just pushing it in with a bit of brush, coarse brush, and then wiping it all off to make the plate ready for the print. So here I'm just laying down some newsprint, and I'm going to outline how the paper that I'm going to print on, just for the reference purposes, just with the pencil on top of the newsprint, so I know where my paper ends. So here we go. All four corners, just to be sure. And now I'm going to reference the size of my plate, and that's just to ensure that everything is aligned as it should be, and that my print is right in the middle of the print paper. And here goes my first plate, my pink plate, and I'm aligning it as well as I possibly can in the corner where my reference lines are for my plate size. And I'm just very, very carefully moving it around to make sure I don't make any marks that will transfer onto the print. And here I'm ready to print with my wet printing paper. And here I'm going to now place a piece of newsprint on top of the printing paper. It's just to protect the blanket on the press, and just make sure it doesn't get dirty from any running ink. And the blanket goes down. I'm just adjusting a little bit the press to make sure that it presses down as tight as possible, but not too tight. And I'm ready to roll. Hey, so this is an exciting bit. I'm just going to see what the first bit looks like. This is first part out of 3 of the overall print. So I've just got to gently peel the newsprint off the plate. Hopefully it hasn't stuck to the paper. And now this bit is really important. So I'm literally just going to replace. I have on purpose trapped my print in between the rollers so it doesn't move, and I'm just quickly going to replace the pink plate with already inked up blue plate right onto the same reference points, just to make sure it's aligned as it should be. So here we go, just making sure that it's the right way up, and I'm going to slide it in and make sure it's on the same reference points that I've previously marked with a pencil. And here we go. So running it through the press for the second time, and this is a really exciting bit, so I can see now how my second colour will show up. This blue ink was a little bit more transparent. I've added some extender to making it a bit more transparent, so hopefully some pink will show through as well. Looking cool. And just like before, I'm going to I'm trapping my print, and I'm going to replace the plate with my very last colour, which is Sepia. Hey, and finally, after all this work, I'm going to get to see what this is going to look like. This is super exciting, and this is the moment that all printers anxiously await. So here we go. And here it is, in its full glory. Very interesting, very vibrant, abstract and different. I love it. I really enjoyed the process, and I hope you have too. It was really good fun to do this. It was a great inspiration to draw from an amazing artist, and it was a lot of work with 3 different plates, but I'm really glad I did it because it has given me an opportunity to explore different techniques and to manipulate more colors. And I hope I've inspired you to try different techniques as well and use more plates to create your print. Happy printing!